Coming up next, drug and alcohol attorney Mark Astor.
Most of us know someone who has been affected by drug or alcohol abuse at one point or another, and it's important to know that there are resources that can help you along that path of recovery to your loved ones. So today we'd like to welcome attorney Mark Astor, who's going to tell us some options that are available if you have someone who is in that position. So, welcome.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning. Nice to see you both.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course.
Well, and thank you for coming. I feel very somber. I feel like this is such a serious topic.
It is, and we're trying to be a little chipper about it because you don't want to be too, unfortunately it's life, and unfortunately life takes you by the blind side
Throw you a
sometimes.
curveball
But luckily
sometimes.
that there's guys like you and there's resources out there to help that.
There is.
So tell us a little bit about what you do and how the ones that are watching right now, if they have somebody that they're struggling with, or if they're struggling with something themselves, maybe there's a resource that you can offer.
So I work with families who are in crisis because either somebody in the family or a friend or a relative or a spouse or a child is in crisis because they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, and sometimes that involves a mental health component too. And so I work with the families to help them to pick up the pieces and to put their lives back together.
So what does that entail? Someone reaches out to you because they have a family member that they've unfortunately had to put into rehab. What happens at that point?
So typically a family comes to me, they're in crisis, and one of the things that I do, which is a little bit different, is even as a lawyer, I realize very often, very early in my practice, that when a family comes to you, it's not a legal problem, it's a personal problem. It's why they can't sleep at night, it's why they can't hold down a job, it's why they can't focus, it's why their relationships are going down the toilet. And so I realize that you have to take a very holistic approach to helping people. The legal remedy is just a very small part of it. Sometimes they need a therapist to talk to. Sometimes they need help with putting together a treatment plan. And I help them with the legal side of things, which typically involves use of Florida's Marchman Act, which is the legal process that you can use to involuntarily commit somebody to force them into treatment.
Even an adult.
Correct. An adult or a child can be Marchman Act when they've refused to go into treatment and they're a threat to themselves or somebody else, and they're out of control, meaning they can't make a rational decision,
Right.
and they need to be forced into treatment before they either end up in the emergency room or dead.
So how long does that mean that they can be put into a rehabilitation center for?
Okay, so typically when a family comes to me, we file a petition, it gets electronically filed, and a hearing must be set within 10 days. The judge will review the petition to determine if it's legally sufficient. If it is, the hearing gets set, and then the judge, based on the testimony and evidence that he receives, can order the person to be assessed for up to 5 days, and that can be extended just a little bit, but typically it's 5 days. If the assessment comes back and determines that treatment is needed, then the person can then be ordered into treatment for up to 60 days, which can be extended a further 90 days. So it has significant teeth to it.
So beyond the hearing, now you've got someone who's in a rehab situation. What resources do you continue to offer at that point, and what's the cost for something like that compared to what a normal civil litigator would be?
Okay, so I charge a standard flat fee to work with families, and I will reduce my fee on a sliding scale if I'm working with families who just can't afford my services. But I also give them access to a lot of resources that I don't charge for. I have an interventionist on staff, and she works with the treatment centers in Palm Beach County, and I don't charge for access to those folks. You can find them on my website, or if you call me, I'm happy to put you into contact with my interventionist and any of my other resources that you'll find on my website.
Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's such a serious topic, but one that needs to be addressed, and it's great to know that there are resources in our community and people like yourself who are helping overcome these obstacles. So if you have a family member in crisis or need information for yourself, please check out Mark's information in the links below to get that help that you or your loved one may need. We'll be right back after this with Good Morning Boca.